Hello. I just want to discuss and let you know what are VA minimum property requirements, also considered VA MPRs. So the VA has established a minimum property requirement to protect the interests of the veteran, lenders, servicers, and the VA. So properties must meet those requirements prior to guarantee of the loan by the VA or closing. And the appraisals will go out and make sure, as a part of their appraisal process, that it meets the requirements for the home to be able to go VA. So some of those, it's not really a home inspection, it's an appraisal. They just want to make sure that the property is safe, structurally sound, and sanitary. So that's why they had set requirements for that. Keep in mind, all loans require something similar. So the whole adage of sometimes this home will not go VA because these requirements, well, conventional FHA, USDA, they have minimum property requirements as well. So just be mindful of that. And they're going to look for any deficiencies or any recommended repairs that might need happened to make it safe, structurally sound, and sanitary. Now, it doesn't include like little cosmetic items. It's mostly major items that are affecting the safety of the home because they want to protect the veteran. So detached improvements such as sheds and other structures may be included in the value if they meet the minimum property requirements, and they may be subject to if there's a health or safety hazard, for instance. So we always typically try to recommend a home inspection to find those items beforehand, just to make sure that our borrowers are going into a home that's not going to require major repairs. So with that, it must be basically the property's got to be readily marketable. It's a real estate entity, and VA doesn't typically pay attention to the number of acres, so don't worry too much about that. But the property being appraised will include more than one parcel at times if needed to depict the value that's needed. If the property is divided by a road or a waterway, the appraiser must determine the effect of the utility on the property to ensure the property is still readily marketable and a real estate entity. Each living unit must have sufficient space because this is where the veteran is going to be living, sleeping, cooking, dining, and sanitary facilities. So again, that's protecting the safety. Non-standard house styles, which may be unique to a market of a home, such as log houses, earth sheltered houses, dome houses, or houses with lower than normal ceiling heights, they will take that into effect as well when they're reviewing to make sure it hits minimum property requirements. And they want to make sure that the home is built and meeting any local building codes it might have. So that's really important. Encroachments. So every now and then you'll hear about encroachments. The appraiser must report, and part of the minimum property requirements, there's no apparent encroachments to the dwelling or the garage or the improvements of the property. Again, they're protecting the veteran. So that's more important. And then a big thing is the site must be graded so that it provides like positive, like rapid drainage away from the perimeter of the walls of the dwelling, prevents ponding of water on the site, which could have health risk in the future. So again, they're just trying to protect the veteran and to make sure there's no major situations or scenarios with that home, such as sinkholes or whatnot. So again, they're there to protect the veteran and their family. Also, if they're located in a flood zone, it's got to be covered by flood insurance. That's a minimum property requirement. As with any of us, we would not want our veteran to be in a home to where every time it rains, their home gets flooded. So keep in mind with that. That's just a big situation. The property must meet both residential and business use, may be eligible for loan guarantee, but the property has to be primarily used for residential. So that's just really key information. So zoning, say it's in a certain zone, the property must comply with the applicable zoning ordinances. So just again, they're trying to protect the veteran. They're trying to make sure that the utilities are on and working, the necessary lighting, the necessary heating, and as well as cooling is a space. So they want to make sure that they don't want to put a veteran in a situation that's going to affect them or their livelihood. So, and water supply, I mean, a lot of homes across America that our veterans are buying have different type of water supply. whether it's coming from a well, whether it's coming from the regular city or county utilities. So I want to make sure they get hot water and the water is safe and there's no problems with sewage. So again, just one way to protect them. So the water supply is important because this is the water that the family is going to be drinking as well as cooking with. And they want to make sure that the water source isn't right next to a septic tank or a public sewage area, that it could be either way, get harmed and go into the system and affect the veteran. So there's a lot of different minimum property requirements. These are a few, but the biggest thing is safety, healthy, and livable. They want to make sure that everybody's protected and there's no poor workmanship. There's no huge hole in the roof that's going to allow water to come in, and eventually, as you know, when you have water coming into an area and it's staying for a long period of time under certain weather conditions, it could create mold. So they want to make sure it's free of termites, leakage, decay, excessive dampness, poor workmanship, defective construction. And if it is, whenever the appraiser goes do the inspection, they'll state, okay, these certain things need to be fixed prior to the home closing. And it'll give the seller an opportunity to fix them if need so. They want to make sure that the mechanical systems of the home is working. They want a working stove. They want to, if there's a hot water heater, they want it to be operable just to provide a safe domain for that veteran. So that's just a little bit of what they have. Again, they're trying to protect the veteran. They're not out to get us, they're out to protect us. So just make sure, as with anything, a home inspector will go out and review the home to make sure there's no major safety issues or hazards, and just to make sure everything is good. And another really quick, important item, say the home is equipped with a swimming pool, okay? If the pool water contains algae, or if the pool has been not winterized and the appraiser can't determine if the pool equipment is in good working order, and the appraiser may complete the appraisal under certain situations, but if it's moldy and everything, they're going to assume that maybe the pool equipment doesn't work. So they want to make sure that everything is sound and in working order when someone goes to move in the home. And depending on if there is any damage, the appraiser in the report will put subject to repair of the pool, subject to cleaning of the pool, subject to the water filtration system working with said home. So again, they just want to make sure everything's good. Burglar bars, if there's a property that a veteran's going to buy, they want to make sure at least one window per bedroom must have a quick release mechanism for them to have leave access to the home if something was to happen. For example, if there was a fire in one of the rooms and say the door's locked or jammed, they want that veteran and family to be able to escape from that room. That's why they have that. And a lot of burglar bars have a system to where you can get out if you need to in a safety or an emergency situation. Lead-based paint is another minimum property requirement. Anything built in or after 1978, it could have defective paint that is normally considered just cosmetic. They want to make sure that if there's any lead-based paint, it's going to be resolved. Again, lead-based paint is presumed before 1978. So it's built after 1978, it's not going to be an issue if they didn't use lead-based paint. Again, lead causes harm, so they want to make sure they're protected. They're going to look for any fungus, any dry rot, any wood-destroying insects such as termites, damage to the home. They're going to want that fixed. Predominantly, mostly in the southern part of the U.S., you have a lot of termite activity, and they want to make sure that the home is protected from that, as well as properties that are located near, say, a potential airport. They require the veteran to acknowledge that it may affect the livability, safety, and value and marketability of the home, mostly when it comes to if there's a lot of sound or a lot of disruption from aircraft coming in and out. They make the veteran sign, okay, you're acknowledging this, because they just want to protect the veteran and make sure that they're educated and aware. As well as manufactured homes and sites, it's considered real estate entity, right? With state laws and local zoning requirements. So it's got to be placed on a permanent foundation, so it can withstand any wind or supporting loads that might be affecting that home. And they just want to make sure it meets requirements. So that's something very important. Modular homes, no problem. They want to make sure that the crawl space is covered in a vapor barrier. It has skirting attached, and that's stopping from any rodents or anything be able to live under the home, which could eventually go into the home. So there are, at times, after the notice of value is issued, so the appraisal has been issued, and then the VA goes, accepts it, and accepts the home to be approved for it to be go for VA financing, that you can, in some situations, do what they call an NPR waiver, which is basically a request signed by the veteran. The lender agrees to it and saying the property is habitable, and from the point of safety, structural soundness, and sanitation. These requests should not allow for the veterans to waive NPRs that could result in safety issues with the home, but it could affect any other NPR type waivers that they need, as long as the veteran is understanding. Again, they want the veteran to be completely educated on that process. So just a quick feedback in regards to minimum property requirements. As always, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to reach out to me or give me a call, and I look forward to helping you. At the end of the day, we want to make sure these veterans and their families are in a safe, secure home. Thank you. Have a great day.